Happy Thursday. Thanks, everybody, for being here on the ever so growing Pushing the Limits radio show, YouTube show. We're also on TikTok, Twitch, and, of course, the Really American Network. So we appreciate all of you being here on a very busy Thursday. Gavin Newsom about to speak here in a few minutes. Donald Trump, again, speaking earlier today from the Oval Office. We have a lot of audio to play for you. We have a lot of news to get to. And the ever so popular MAGA prankster Robbie Roadster will be joining us here in just a few minutes. But, you know, tomorrow's a really big day. Tomorrow is a really big day for the world. It's a big day for Ukraine. It's a big day for Russia. It's a big day for America. But I don't think anything's going to change. Of course, I'm talking about the meeting that Donald Trump is going to be having with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, even though Donald Trump thought, I guess, he was going to Russia. I don't know. But, you know, I've talked a lot about the relationship between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. I've talked a lot about the fact that Putin has just played him like a fiddle.
Show with no sanctions. They haven't given up anything. And Donald Trump, after one deadline after another, Taco Trump, fails to hold Russia accountable for anything. And I feel like that is going to be the theme tomorrow. That Putin is going to have his demands, whether that be land or other things, and that Donald Trump will be rewarding an evil dictator for invading our allies, and then it will be turned back to Vladimir Zelensky. Now, Zelensky will not adhere to giving up land, I am sure. When you think of all the innocent people that have lost their lives to this point, I do not believe that Zelensky is just going to give in. And what we can't do in this country, or in any country for that matter, especially the United States of America, is reward an evil dictator for invading our allies. But I tend to think that inevitably that is probably what the meeting is going to entail tomorrow. I believe Donald Trump will bend the knee to Vladimir Putin. And I also believe that in the end, more innocent people are going to lose their lives. So we'll get back to this. There's a lot to talk about today, and there's a lot to get to. But, you know, I've had this guy on the show a few times, and if you haven't heard of him, his name is Robbie Roadster. He is hilarious. He is a MAGA torturist, for lack of a better term. He goes all over the country singing these songs that drives MAGA people absolutely crazy. He's hilarious. He's funny and also very intelligent. If you don't know him, well, this was one of the moments. He's got many viral moments. This was the moment that he pranked Steve Bannon. I want to play this clip for you, and then Robbie Roadster will join us. This is Robbie Roadster pranking Steve Bannon right after he got out of jail. Listen to this.
Steve, Robbie Roadster here. I'm wondering, when's the next insurrection, and can we storm the Burger King after this? Like, can we do that? I mean, doesn't he look great now? We were in Danbury the first month together. He looks great. You don't remember me? We were lifting weights and stuff in the weight room. When's the next insurrection? How are we going to do this and stuff, man? You know what? If I'm leaving, I'm having a good time. He looks like Yoda with AIDS right now. Robbie Roadster, no political violence, people. This place smells like mothballs.
Oh, God. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. That man is joining us right now on the show. He makes us all laugh, and I love having him on. Also, part of the Un-F America tour, which I'm recently a part of as well. The man himself, Robbie Roadster, joining us on the show. Robbie, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Brian, let's tear it up.
Well, before we get to the fun stuff, I want to talk to the fans of yours and the people that listen to this show. You've had some medical issues. You've had issues with your eye. Can you give people an update? Because I know you had a GoFundMe page going. How are you doing? How's your health? And how's your eye feeling right now?
First off, MAGA did not detach the retinal from my eye. That rumor has been going around. Basically, I was swimming with my beautiful Colombian girlfriend, huge lungs. And during swimming, my retinal became detached. act of God. But it was 20 minutes after Hulk Hogan died. So I imagine the Hulkster, who I also trolled too, maybe dropped a big boot on my eye from heaven. But either way, my retinal got detached. Thank God I'm in Boston, best doctors on earth. They injected a gas bubble behind the cornea. I know this sounds like the TV show ER. But they injected a gas bubble behind the cornea, so I'm out of commission for a month. And I just want to reiterate that MAGA did not do this to my eye, or maybe they did. You know what? I need quick, dirty money. There was a little bastard who checked me down in Tampa. He might have loosened up my cornea.
That could be possible. Well, you're healing, though. You're healing. So are you losing sight in this eye? Or are you going to get your eyesight back? How does this work?
Basically, what happened is by the time I got emergency surgery, I was 80% blind in my left eye. I now have full visual. There's no black, but it's all foggy because there's still a gas bubble behind the eye that they put there to hold the cornea. This is garbage. Let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene having strong horse legs. I didn't want to turn this into the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Fair enough. By the way, I watched that video again today when you're trolling Marjorie Taylor Greene with your guitar and singing the song Horse Legs. I thought that was extremely funny. And yeah, you did mention that you did prank Hulk Hogan as well. So let me ask you this. When you're healthy again, what do you have when your eyesight gets better? What do you plan on doing next? Are you going to be going to another Turning Point USA rally? Are you going to try to troll Charlie Kirk again? Are you going to try to troll Trump? Where do you plan on going next?
The sky's the limit, baby. I feel like a young Selena, the good one, the one that got shot. I feel like a young Selena, and I feel like I can get with the UNF America tour. Wherever they want to go, I want to go. I want to hit Charlie Kirk again. I want to get down to Washington and start hitting the Congress people again. Maybe hit Marjorie Taylor Greene with a sequel. She's got style. She got grace. She got a terrible face, but she's got strong horse legs. I think my vision will be back in a month. I want to thank everybody for donating to the GoFundMe. It's invaluable because, hey, if I'm not trolling MAGA, I don't have a really good skill set. I have to work. Last job I had was Home Depot, pushing the carts outside while people were trolling me coming into the parking lot and be like, hey, Robbie Roadster, how you going to troll Hulk Hogan while you're hiding in the Home Depot shed taking a break? I got a lot of massholes around here bullying me.
I'm thinking that you might not want your full eyesight back if you're anywhere close to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, that's just my personal opinion, but Robbie, do you have any new songs lined up? That's what I want to know, because you cover these songs so brilliantly. Do you have another song that you're looking at that you would like to cover when you're at one of these events?
Yeah, I mean, when I get, out and about again, I just want to stick with the anthems, hitting right home to MAGA and stuff. And, basically I haven't covered yet the Beatles. I'd like to get into some of the Beatles catalog and stuff. It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper and Steve Bannon taught the band how to insurrect. And that they'll never forget. So let me introduce to you the man they call the Pumpkin Spice Satan, Donald Trump. Something like that. And,
I love that. I love it.
I'm just excited. It'll probably be September. I'll be back out again, and I can't wait, man. I love trolling MAGA. It helps my kidneys. I have polycystic kidney disease. It helps my heart. Nothing like going face to face with somebody like Rudy Giuliani or Marjorie Taylor Greene and just letting them know what the score is.
So if you were in D.C. right now, because all these troops have been deployed, or the National Guard, I'm trying to figure out what song would you sing to them? Like, what would you say to them?
Oh, I would probably sing to them, Ice Boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the government's through with you? Ice Boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the government's through with you? You used to be a mall security. And now you're harassing brown people. I mean, I probably hit them with the standards like that. But I would be singing to the troops. I would be singing to the National Guard. I was in Los Angeles about a month ago, and they had all the DHS agents all masked, the ICE agents on the front line. And I was doing a little bit of Queen for them. I like disarming them. I like singing songs that bring us together, like, ooh, you make me live. Whenever you point your tear gas at me, it's you. You help me live. Ooh, you make me live now, MAGA. It's just, I want to be like Robin Williams in like a mid-'80s movie where he's helping like sick kids in the hospital, or he's on the radio making the troops laugh. I just want to raise morale. And, hopefully when I get back to Washington, I can hook up with AOC, because she is the Joan Baez of our scene, man. Beautiful, big brown doe eyes, great politics, strong, non-horse-like legs. I love her.
Big lungs, as you would say, with your girlfriend.
Right? Well, absolutely ridiculous, all right? And it's a shame that we can't appreciate that anymore, that we get censored thanks to George Carlin from saying the T word. But, oh, my God, AOC got the Nancy Pelosi gene when it came to body. My God.
She's absolutely a beautiful lady. There's no doubt about it. And I've met her, and she's also extremely intelligent. I'm a big AOC fan. No question. So we have requests. People are saying that maybe you should cover, I don't know if you'd consider doing this, Vanilla Ice, Ice, Ice Baby, and maybe do something with that song with Ice. You think that's something that can happen?
I hate to be a hipster about it. Everybody always wants Ice Ice Baby or Taco Taco Man by the Village People. I have 100 DMs every day of these damn people thinking they're the next Lennon McCartney coming in and be like, dude, I just came up with it. Ice Ice Baby. And I'll get it out there. There's no doubt about it and stuff. But I like to go a little bit deeper into the catalog. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. I understand. I totally understand that. By the way, I wanted to bring this up because Brad Garrett owns a comedy club here in Las Vegas. I was looking that Garrett donated $1,000 to your GoFundMe. I'm sure you were aware of that. Does he know? Apparently he knows who you are. I'm a big Brad Garrett fan, so that must be pretty cool feeling for you.
Bro, Brian, it is surreal right now, the amount of A-listers that are reaching out and supporting me. Brad has been sharing my videos. He's been sliding into my DMs and sending some of the nicest messages. And, I saw him on Everybody Loves Raymond, man. And now that I'm attracting the creme de la creme of Hollywood, it's surreal, dude. I feel like Selena, the one who got shot, not the one afterwards that used the name and, made all the pop songs, the real Selena. Right. I feel like I have the whole world ahead of me. Apollonia from Purple Rain says that when I get to Los Angeles, that we can duet. That me and her, just like Purple Rain, can be out there, and duetting together, washing ourselves in the waters of the Lake Latonka, whatever, out there in LA, like they did in Purple Rain. But I love her.
If you had an opportunity to do a duet with somebody when you're out, torturing these MAGA people, who would you want to be side by side with singing songs with you?
I would love to be side by side with AOC. Sometimes when I have a little bit of the weed and the greens, I imagine her and me as the new Bob Dylan, Timothy Chalamet, and Joan Baez at Newport. I feel like Bernie Sanders can play Pete Seeger, introducing us to the riots in LA and DC, me and AOC together, and we can get up. Beautiful lungs on AOC. She is a poet. And just be like, hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white. There ain't no place I'm going to. And I feel like she can hit those high harmonies. I love her. And she needs a strong male presence around her. She's got this beta cuck boy that hides behind her every time she's getting attacked. And it hurts me. She needs somebody with the strength of a Joe Rogan, Hulk Hogan, that can drop the big boot and drop the leg drop without being a homophobe or a racist. We like everything about Hulk Hogan with the wrestling moves. We just want to, dial it down on the racism.
Yeah, well, he was a racist. We know that. Did you feel any moment of guilt at all after you learned that Hulk Hogan passed away? Your prank on him was very funny. Don't get me wrong. Any bit of guilt at all?
I got to be honest with you, no. And I'll tell you why. Because does any wrestler that has had a negative exchange with Hogan feel bad? No. Why? Because it's wrestling. Me and him, I gave him his final big run in that last year while he was going around hawking great real American beer because he hates the Bud Light Rainbow bottle. I gave him his final run, his final rivalry, up there with The Rock, up there with Andre the Giant, up there with Paul Orndorff. I came in and I hit him twice with some of the greatest songs and made his career relevant again. I don't think so. I do feel like that Hulk Hogan joined up with my dad, who is a known Trumper, up in heaven, and they detached my retina. And I don't know if I can sue Hogan in the afterlife, but 20 minutes after, and all of a sudden I get a detached retina after he died.
Yeah,
I think he dropped a big boot from heaven on me.
I agree. I don't think it's a coincidence. All right, so here's what I want to do here with you, Robbie. So I want to post this on social media. I've heard that at times Marjorie Taylor Greene and her boyfriend, Brian Glenn, who I go after on social media, they do read some of my tweets. In fact, I've got some very nasty messages from her boyfriend. So here's what I want to do. Robbie, pretend like you're talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. You can sing a song. You can say whatever you would like to her. I'm going to put this out on social media, okay? So this is Robbie Roadster, and you're speaking to Marjorie Taylor Greene, as I call her three-toe. Marjorie, what would you like to say to her right now, Robbie?
Oh, I'm going to have to get the guitar if this is
That's
the real
Marjorie. This is for real. This is for real.
Yeah,
this is for real.
Marjorie, I love you. Let's storm the Applebee's together. Get away from your ugly ass boyfriend, Brian Beasting Face. And here's a song for you. I was sitting at CPAC. I was feeling whack. And there she was with strong horse legs. Somehow I gotta make her mine. She's got style. She's got grace. She's got a terrible horse face, but she's got strong horse legs. Marjorie, you and me, come back to Massachusetts. I have lotion. I can serve those lungs. We can live forever, baby. Get away from your boyfriend, Brian Beasting Face. He looks like he was in that movie, My Girl, as Macaulay Culkin. You know what I'm talking about, baby. Let me serve those horse legs and feet. You got beautiful, meaty feet. I love. Wait. Why is security around me? Marjorie, don't go. I love you. I want to storm the Applebee's with you. And that would be it, Brian.
Oh, I'm going to post that on social media, and I guarantee you she is going to see that, okay? And so will her idiot boyfriend, Brian Glenn. He will see it.
Do better. Even though her politics suck, I feel like me and her together could heal the party divide. That maybe we could do a song, together, like Elton John and Kiki D, and be like, don't go hating the blacks. I won't go hating the blacks. Oh, baby, when you trigger the trans. Oh, something like that.
I think that could work. That's very catchy, actually.
Nobody likes us.
I think that could be a smash hit. That should be your next song. Don't go hating the blacks, and then you could sing it to almost every MAGA Republican in Washington D.C. right now, because that's really what they're doing. So that could be another smash hit for you, Robbie. Hey, Robbie, I am glad that you're feeling better and you're getting healed up, and I wish you a full recovery, my friend. And there is a reason why so many people have donated, and because you make us laugh, you're funny, you're also smart, you're on the right side of history, and at this time, I think you would agree, we all need to laugh a little bit, right? Because people are going through some tough times right now, and you are very funny.
Hey, Brian, really honestly, we don't just need to laugh. We need good counterculture again. Every time there's political, just nihilism and darkness, what always happens? In the 60s, we had the counterculture, Haight-Ashbury. In the early 90s, after 12 years of Reagan and Bush, we had alternative grunge. We had Seattle. It's that time again, and we're going to make it happen by romanticizing the scene, by laughing, by loving, by community together. We can unite the working class, woke weirdos, dorks, wastoids, all together. I'm tired of separation. Oh, let's hate the immigrants and trans. No, let's make love on the streets. MAGA, woke, pants down to the ankles. And that's what I think the Unf America tour is. It's about bringing counterculture and romanticizing the scene back. People like you, me, Z, Destiny, all of them coming together to heal America like the new Haight-Ashbury.
That's right. And Destiny's actually going to be joining us again on the show tomorrow. So what better time to do it? Robbie, I love you, brother. I love you. Keep up the great work. And I can't wait to meet you in December when we're all out there in Phoenix. Heal up. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. And please have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Absolutely. Much love, Brian. You are aces at the end of the year. Let's just take over the Spear and do like a Jerry Lewis telethon series show together. Let's get some serious money and some big lungs. You know what I'm talking about, King.
Let's get some big lungs. Thanks, Robbie. Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
We love Robbie. Robbie Roadster is the best. He's hilarious, and I actually can't wait to meet him in person. I'm going to be meeting him with the Unf America tour in Phoenix in December. That's going to be so much fun. We love Robbie. We're glad that he's healing up and his eyes going to be getting better, because that's obviously a serious situation. And I am going to actually, my editors are going to put that Marjorie Taylor Greene video together, that video of him singing together. We're going to try to make that viral. We're going to post it later today. We're going to tag Robbie in it. And I'm going to tag Marjorie Taylor Greene and her stupid boyfriend, Brian Glenn. So they will listen to that song that Robbie just sang. It was very well done. All right, so here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get serious. And it's interesting because Fox Business had to report on some really bad numbers that came out as far as the economy goes again today. We have that audio to play for you. It sounded like somebody died. And then again, you have Peter Navarro that is making a complete ass of himself on national television. We have that audio for you. And then more excuses coming from the MAGA right on Donald Trump deploying the National Guard. The audio is just unbelievable. And we're also going to prepare you for what will be a meeting with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump tomorrow in Alaska, not Russia. Hopefully they know where to go. We have a lot coming up next. And of course, we will also be taking your phone calls. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back here in about 90 seconds. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find
how to most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Programming note for you. The ever so popular streamer, arguably the most popular streamer on the left, I don't think that's overstating it, Destiny will be joining us on the show tomorrow. Me and Destiny and Robbie Roadster and some others have teamed up for the Un-F America Tour. We'll all be gathering in Phoenix when Donald Trump is there, and we're going to try to have some sort of run-in with Charlie Kirk. We'll see how that goes. But yes, Destiny will be joining us on the show tomorrow. Always fun catching up with him. His real name is Steven, but I do call him Destiny because that's what he's known as. All right. So some new economic numbers have come in. And this new data showing spikes in inflation. And Maria Bartiromo reported on this earlier today, and it sounded like she was announcing that somebody in her family died. I want you to listen to these people like the Bartiromos of the world who are forced to give out numbers that are real, not fake, that show that inflation is rising and the economy is struggling. Have a listen to this.
Breaking news right now, and a spike in the producer price level of inflation. Take a look. Markets are selling off here because the July PPI came in up 0.9%. Worse than the estimated up 0.2%. This is the headline number. It was expected up 0.2, came up 0.9%. Year over year, it is up 3.3% versus an estimate of up 2.5%. Now, when you look at core, it's also troubling because in the core PPI, it was up 0.9% versus an estimate of 0.2%. Year over year, the core up 3.7%, also higher than the estimated expectation, which was up 2.9%. These numbers have caused markets to drop. The Dow Industrial is down 105, the Nasdaq down 71, and the S&P 500 lower by 19. We want to take a look at producer prices with the Transportation Secretary. Sean Duffy will be here to talk about other things like the modernization of the FAA, as well as the investment in space. But we're going to start off with getting his expectation and reaction to a spike in producer prices.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll blame Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. You hear the sadness in her voice when reporting about these numbers. My question is, who's Donald Trump going to fire next? Are they going to call these fake numbers? Are they going to not allow these numbers to come out next month? Who's Donald Trump going to fire? Who are they going to call for these fake numbers that are out there? By the way, they're not fake. They're real numbers, and there are more numbers that are bad that are showing that we are headed towards a recession. And Bartiromo was just forced to admit that on live television. Somebody else who seems to be living on some other planet is in the Trump administration, Peter Navarro. Remember, Peter Navarro was the guy that said 90 deals in 90 days. How did that work out? Well, now he's being asked on a national network, where's all this money coming from? And these tariff prices and all these economists out there that are saying that the American people are paying for this. Mr. Navarro, what do you say to that? And here's Peter Navarro absolutely spinning and lying to the American people.
There's no tax cuts. No tariffs, no tax cuts. So are tariffs price hikes or tax cuts? I say they're tax cuts.
I mean, many economists would say that they're tax hikes because ultimately a consumer will pay for some of those increased prices.
Look, that debate has been going on since the first term. And most economists just don't agree with us. The problem with most economists is they got it wrong the first time around. Just spectacularly wrong. So who has credibility here? The Trump administration or the
No, it's been better
economists?
than thought. I give you plenty of credit every day here. Every day I say that the inflation is not as bad.
The Wall Street Journal blamed me for, they had lead editorial saying the Navarro recession because of the tariffs in the first term, and all we got was robust growth and no inflation. So, and I love watching CNBC, like when the data comes out, you got the Leisman Santelli show. It's like, you know, it's like the Thriller in Manila, you know. I always think Rick kicks his butt, but, you know, Steve has his fans too. But this is why you guys are able to have a lot of viewers. There's just a lot going on to parse. I'm hoping that I've helped you today because, folks, pay attention to this executive order and figure out how to make money from it, because you will do that.
Peter Navarro, thank you for the time today.
Thank you so much, Peter Navarro. What an absolute clown. What an absolute clown. Everything that man is saying is a blatant lie. Forget about all the economists that are not partisan hacks, that do not work in the Trump administration, that disagree with everything you just said. But let's just push all them to the side and let's trust those in the Trump administration. Yeah, okay, I'll get right on that, you freaking idiot. And this is the point in the interview. And by the way, the person conducting this interview, I mean, just no pushback. It's absolutely pathetic. But have a listen when Peter Navarro is asked a very simple question, which is, who do you see paying for all these tariffs? Now, obviously, the answer overwhelmingly is the American consumer and American companies. Anybody with half a brain knows that. Listen to Peter Navarro try to weasel his way out of this question.
At the goal, just on inflation today, we got this hotter wholesale inflation number. In fact, biggest monthly surge that we've seen in years. And yes, a lot of it was in services, and maybe it's not as bad when it comes to the tariff feed through into inflation, but you know, most economists are bracing for a bigger hit, and we're hearing from retail companies about passing on higher prices to the consumer. Who do you see as paying for all of these tariffs that are coming in? I mean, it's either the people who buy the stuff, the people who make the stuff, or the people who sell the stuff.
It's the foreigners, the exporters, who are heavily dependent on this market, and we see this clearly in the data. We saw it clearly from the first term, and think about it now. We've collected over $100 billion in tariffs already. We've had zero inflation from that.
Okay, so first of all, that's not true. That's another lie. Second of all, it's not all these foreign companies that are paying for this. It's the American consumer and American companies. He knows that. He's lying to the American people. And there's no pushback. And that's why he'll go on a show like this, but he won't go on MSNBC. He won't go on CNN because there will be pushback. Peter Navarro is lying to you. When are you guys going to finally realize that? Speaking of liars, let's talk about Mr. Comer. So as you know, certainly the biggest story over the course of the last several days, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Maxwell. I haven't forgotten about the Epstein files, but certainly you could make the argument a big story over the last few days is Donald Trump's deployment of the National Guard to D.C., which is completely unnecessary. And when you look at all the statistics, they all show that crime is down. Does that mean all crime is erased? No, of course not. There's plenty of crime in any major city in this country, but that doesn't mean it gives you the go-ahead to just put in the National Guard. I think most reasonable people would agree with that, and they're also not trained to be doing what they're doing. Local law enforcement is. But every statistic is showing you that crime is way down, upwards of 30% over the course of the last year or so. But Comer made it sound like he plans, or at least Donald Trump plans on, bringing in the National Guard to almost every major city in this country. And this is some really scary stuff. But read between the lines. It sounds to me that's exactly what Comer is saying. Have a listen to this.
Carjacking, we have people mugging people at all hours of the day, and it's out of control. So the president had to send in the National Guard.
Right.
And I think that you've seen just in the last 24 hours a huge decline in crime, and we're going to support this. We're going to support doing this in other cities if it works out in Washington, D.C. And again, it's unfortunate, but we spend a lot on our military. Our military has been in many countries around the world for the past 2 decades, walking the streets, trying to reduce crime in other countries. We need to focus on the big cities in America now, and that's what the president's doing.
So I want you guys to think about what he's saying there and how dangerous this is. The concept, and this is really what he's saying, of military control of all these U.S. cities is not some pipe dream for the GOP. This is what these officials are calling for. This is what they want. What's next? Martial law? Think about that. Is that what you want in every major city in this country? You want active duty military out there? A bunch of people that aren't identifying themselves as agents deporting people? Is this the country that you want to live in? What are we headed towards? Think about what this moron, Comer, is saying here. And he's also calling this an experiment, like everybody in D.C. are a bunch of mice. That's what he's calling this. He's calling this an experiment. Bringing in the National Guard is some sort of science experiment, according to Comer, because that's what he says here.
Look, that worked in Washington, D.C. Why don't you vote to allow President Trump to come into Chicago or New York City or Philadelphia and try to combat the criminal activity in their cities? So I think that this is an experiment that's probably needed in a lot of the Democrat-run cities in America, and hopefully there'll be some support. There'll be some Democrat support that'll cross the line, because anything takes 60 votes in the Senate. So these senators we're gonna have to have a few Democrats to support that. But I'm pretty confident we'll get it through the House, and hopefully we can get it through the Senate with a few Democrats that hear from their constituents.
Absolutely not. There are absolutely no Democrats that are going to support this, so he is dreaming if he thinks that's going to happen. Obviously, the overwhelming majority of Republicans will support this because they'll support anything that Donald Trump tells them to, but Democrats are not going to support this. And this is the point that is like so interesting to me, because Donald Trump is making the case that crime is the worst it's ever been in D.C. and that they have the worst violent crime in the country. Now, we know that that's a lie. Not only that, but Caroline the Liar Levitt admitted that the numbers that are coming out of D.C. that have been dropping, which Kash Patel even admitted the other day, the numbers of violent crime in D.C. are the lowest they've been since the 1960s. And Caroline Levitt, the only appearances she'll make are on right-wing television like Fox News, or as I like to call it, Fox Noise. And you have one of these idiot anchors in Earhart, is that her name? I don't even know how to pronounce her name, this bimbo. But she starts telling Caroline Levitt, there's a lot of people that are saying that, this is the lowest crime rates we've seen since the 60s. It's 30%. Crime is down 30%. Is that a lie or is that true? And you actually have Caroline Levitt saying those numbers are actually true. Listen to this.
Caroline, I know that the president can do this for 30 days if he notifies the right committees in Congress, which he did. There were some stories the Democrats were spreading the narrative. We don't need the National Guard in there because crime has gone down around 30%, 26%, I think, this past year, and 35% the year before that. And then we heard those numbers might be inaccurate. They might be false. And some people were let go or they were suspended, right, Brian, from their jobs because of it. Can you clear that up for us? Are those numbers correct?
Yeah, these numbers are absolutely correct, and we will continue to provide the American public and the press with the numbers because we're proud of these efforts. If the Democrats had their way, there would be hundreds more criminals roaming free in the streets of the District of Columbia right now. There would be hundreds of more illegal aliens who this task force has already detained and arrested, and now they are focused on deporting from our country. Those individuals would remain in the District of Columbia where they would have been free to do more harm. And that's not counting all of the would-be criminals that may have committed violent crimes and maybe taken the lives of law-abiding residents of this city, if not for the deterrence.
So there you have Caroline Levitt that is admitting that crime is way down in D.C., upwards of 30%. Yet she's still trying to defend bringing in the National Guard. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's comical. It's so pathetic. And another guy that is absolutely comical, that is lying to the American people, is an idiot by the name of Mark Wayne Mullen. Yes, the 4-foot-tall Mullen with short man syndrome went on national television yesterday And he's lying to the American people, saying that the homicide rates in D.C. are the largest and the highest than any other large city in the nation. Now, obviously, that is a complete and total lie. Listen to this elected official blatantly lying to the American people.
Well, Brian, even with the fact that they're not prosecuting crimes, homicide rates in Washington, D.C. is the largest and by far the highest of any other large city in the nation. If you look at car theft only, if Washington, D.C. was a state, Washington, D.C. would be 3 times higher than any other state. And we're talking about a city. We're comparing it to full states. And by the way, I'm not joking when I say this. I drive around in Washington, D.C. in my Jeep, and yes, I do drive myself, and I don't buckle up. And the reason why I don't buckle up, and people can say whatever they want to, they can raise their eyebrows at me again, is because of carjacking. I don't want to be stuck in my vehicle when I need to exit in a hurry because I got a seatbelt around me. And I wear my seatbelt all the time, but in Washington, D.C., I do not, because it is so prevalent of carjacking. And I don't want the same thing happen to me, what's happened to a lot of people that work on the Hill.
Listen to this jackass. First of all, I'll get to the carjacking comment in a moment, which is absolutely absurd. But everything that Mark Wayne Mullen just said is an absolute lie. Now, maybe he doesn't buckle up because he's afraid he's going to be carjacked. I don't think I believe that, because I don't really believe anything this idiot says. But it's a lie what he said about D.C. It's a blatant lie. They're not even close to the largest and highest homicide rate in any city in the country. It's just a blatant lie. You could look that up if you don't believe me. And something that is true, however, which my friend Jojo from Jers pointed out correctly, is that Mark Wayne Mullen's home state of Oklahoma consistently ranks as the worst in the country when it comes to education. But you won't hear Mark Wayne Mullen talk about that. Now, in regards to what he said about carjackings, have you ever heard of anybody in this country, anybody, that says they don't buckle up because they're afraid that they're going to be carjacked? Have you ever heard anybody make a statement like that? It's absolutely ridiculous. And my understanding is this year there have been 189 carjackings to this day in D.C. 189. Think of the population in D.C. Think of that for a moment. And Mark Wayne Mullen is saying he's driving around in his nice vehicle, and he makes sure he doesn't buckle up just in case he is carjacked. And we're supposed to take this idiot seriously? Speaking of not taking this idiot seriously, he doesn't even know who the mayor of D.C. is, because he refers to her as a he multiple times. Now, I would assume that's not intentional. If it is, it's even worse. He's talking about the mayor of D.C. He works in D.C. He doesn't know that it's a she and not a he. Have a listen to this.
Yeah, the left media and the leaders in the Washington, D.C., especially the and I will say this, the very racist mayor, and people may get eyebrows when I raise that, but he's the one that brings in race into the conversation. So he's the one that's pointing the fingers at it, and when you point one finger, you got 3 pointing back at you. But for him to say that and flat out lie to the American people, he knows exactly what's happening. Crime is not down. The lack of prosecution is down. They don't allow the prosecuting attorneys to actually prosecute. They've taken all the felonies and they've dropped them down to dang near misdemeanors, and they don't even write the tickets on them. Violations don't even exist in Washington, D.C. Traffic laws don't hardly exist in Washington, D.C. So it's an absolute lie what they're telling the American people. They just don't enforce law and order in Washington, D.C. That's the only reason why crime is down.
Yeah, by the way, it's a she, dumbass. The mayor of D.C. is not a he. She. You stupid idiot. By the way, what you said is not true. Show me the evidence that they're not prosecuting these people. Show me all the evidence that they're changing felonies into misdemeanors. By the way, the reports of crime, not whether they're prosecuted or not, those are the stats that we are using. You dumbass idiot. Your mayor is a she, not a he. Now, I can understand maybe if you were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, how you might be a little bit confused, but that's not what we're talking about here. So while all this is going on, Donald Trump is meeting with Vladimir Putin tomorrow. I've told you it's very simple to predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Vladimir Putin is not going to be raising the white flag. It ain't going to happen. He doesn't care how many people lose their lives on his side or the other side. He has shown no chance of easing up the possibility of a ceasefire or ending this war anytime soon because he doesn't care. And he has no regard for innocent human lives. Like I said, whether it be his own soldiers or innocent people in Ukraine. Keep in mind that every single time Donald Trump makes the case that he believes Putin wants peace, Putin has another airstrike where innocent people lose their lives. Trump getting embarrassed by the day. But I want to go back to something really quick in case some of you MAGA people, I know some of you might be very forgetful. Maybe you're in the bunker. I don't know. But think about all the times that Donald Trump said he would end the war within 24 hours. In fact, he said he would end the war before he even got into office, that all he would have to do was pick up the phone. Don't believe me? Here's just a taste of some of those statements he made on the campaign trail to his base of ignorant supporters.
I would fix that within 24 hours. And if I win, before I get into the office, I will have that war settled. 100% sure. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and we'll do it quickly. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and it will settle with Ukraine and Russia. I will get them to settle that war very quickly, even before I become president, as a president-elect. Ukraine and Russia, the stupidity with I will get that negotiated and ended before I ever take office. I'll do it after the election as president-elect. We would get a settlement in 24 hours, and even now I could solve that in 24 hours.
How did that work out? Did he solve it in 24 hours? For all the idiots out there that voted for this guy, I'm going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. I'm going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. How did that work in 2016? Now he's talking about ending the war within 24 hours. Oh, you think Vladimir Putin's just going to show up tomorrow and say, okay, Donnie, okay, Orange Man, I raised the white flag. No, it's going to be the opposite. Donald Trump is going to cave. Taco Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we call him Taco Trump? Well, even Bartiromo on Fox Business, when pressing Besant, who's a complete imbecile, said Trump allowed his own self-imposed deadline to pass without doubling down on sanctions on Russia. The deadlines keep passing, and Donald Trump literally does nothing. And listen to Besant's pathetic answer in regards to that.
Secretary, I mean, look, you've stated that sanctions on Russia can go up or they can be loosened depending on the outcome of this meeting between the president and Putin. But look, President Trump allowed his own self-imposed deadline to pass without doubling down on those sanctions on Russia. Why? Did he want to go into this meeting without the pressure of knowing that he just put these, doubling down on the sanctions? Because, the president was very clear. He said he's giving Putin 50 days until a ceasefire. Then he came out, he said it's 10 days away. He had a deadline of last Friday, but it came and went.
Well, Maria, two things. He brought the deadline back from 50 to 10, and it didn't come and go because we put the secondary tariffs on India. So he's created leverage there, and I think that he's shown President Putin what's in store if things don't go well in Alaska.
Wow. So secondary tariffs on India is what's going to end this war? Are we freaking joking here? Is this a joke? You think Vladimir Putin cares about secondary tariffs on India, and that's a deterrent that's going to stop him from continuing this war? That's what Besant is trying to tell you. How could anybody believe it? It's ridiculous. What has Russia given up? What are the sanctions? I open up the phone lines now. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, I'll always take your call. The number to call is 702-221-7283. Again, that number, if you would like to be a part of the conversation, now's the time to call in. And again, that number is 702-221-7283. That's 702-221-SAVE. Quickly, we will go to the YouTube Super Chat, as your questions and comments can also be heard there if you don't want to call in. My good friend Darcy Merritt, a fan of the show, says, hey, y'all, I've been out of the country for a week, and oh, what a relief and break from this embarrassing show. Yes, I agree with you, Darcy. It is getting worse and worse by the day, and I appreciate your support of the show. Questions and comments can be read in the YouTube Super Chat at PTL Radio Show. Again, that number is 702-221-7283 if you would like to be a part of the show. All right, let's start off with Harold. Harold is first up on PTL. Hello, Harold.
I'm going to keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
I have no idea what you just said. And then he hangs up the phone. Okay, thank you. I'm glad we went to him first. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to James. James is next up on PTL. What's up, James?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
And may you have a blessed day and a blessed life and all blessings for your show.
Thank you.
Your talk show. And I wanted to compliment you on you being a soldier enduring for the truth. And you have no cowardness, and you're a great man in the eyes of God because you're seeking out the truth.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do appreciate you saying that. That's very kind of you, James. And you are correct. I don't say things on the air just to get clicks. I've always said the things I say on the air because I truly believe it, and I do try to separate fact from fiction. So I do appreciate those kind words, James. Thank you. What's on your mind today?
I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself quick. I was in the union. I'm a mason, block mason. For 35 years, I ran buildings, town walls, freeways, jails, malls.
Yep.
And I also studied biblical 37 years. And I'm talking about I studied from the building of our building. We are the building.
Gotcha.
So I'm not talking about another building or nothing like that. I'm talking about the real building.
Yes.
That we are, the temple. And I wanted to say something about why those things are happening of Trump, and God is revealing the nakedness of what's behind.
Can I ask you something? I'm sorry to interrupt because you sound like a very religious man, and and that's cool. I'm not one of those people. I do believe in God. I'm not an atheist, but help me understand this without getting too deep into religion. But if there is a God out there, which I think you and I believe there is, why would he let a 34-count felon, miserable human being become the president of the United States? Like, how does this happen? Is there an explanation for that? Does God control this? I don't understand it. Help me understand.
Okay, I'm going to help you from the root of things. See, what's behind our government and everything, if we go into Revelation 17, it talks about the great whore, the Roman Empire, where all the pedophiles are and everything that control our government. It talks about the 7 heads. And we're part of one of the heads with Russia. That's why Trump is with Russia, on the side with Russia, because it's one of the heads, the Bloods. And the Spaniards and the Italians, they're part of the heads.
Yep.
And the harlots are the religions and everything. So the harlots are the religions that get paid to sell God.
Yes.
The false Antichrist. So what's happening is that they were tied, Trump and all them, with Epstein, even with one of the heads, England, which, remember, one of those princes got caught for being one of those. Okay, it's all tied together there.
All right, well, listen, I understand. I mean, I get what you're saying. And I appreciate your explanation. I really do. As I said, I'm not a very religious person, but sometimes bad things happen to good people. I don't always believe things happen for a reason. I think sometimes things happen for a reason. But what could be the positive reason for Donald Trump being the leader of the free world? This despicable human being, this woman abuser, this liar, just a horrific human being. I can't see anything positive coming out of this, my friend. But I do appreciate, you trying to explain this. James over in the YouTube Super Chat says, I wonder when these Trumpers are going to open their eyes and see the truth that Trump is dragging us down a dark hole. Well, James, if they don't see it by now, then they're never going to see it. I'm sorry to say. I'm amazed that people voted for him a third time. Some people I know voted for him 3 times in a row. If they don't see it by now, then they're never going to see it. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Adam. Adam is next up on PTL. Hey, Adam, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, appreciate what you do. My comments are not about anything topical or currently going on. I wanted to talk about Trump from a few years past here. So tens of millions of us have been experiencing collective trauma. The racism, the misogyny, the normalization of these things, racism, misogyny, xenophobia. We're experiencing a collective trauma. I certainly am. And, MAGA is going to hear me and say, oh, who's this? This guy's a snowflake. No, I am a patriotic, hardworking American, a father, a son of aging parents. I'm a registered nurse. And when I talk about collective or trauma in general, I'm talking about the natural psychological effects of being utterly embarrassed and saddened by this buffoon, narcissist, imbecile, convicted felon, schoolyard bully, misogynist, racist train wreck of a president going back 10 years now. So my comments are, I'm still hung up on something from 10 years ago on his comments about McCain not being a
that was the worst. I still talk about that, sir, every day. You know what's interesting? Because I agree with everything you just said. There are people on the far right that'll say you have Trump derangement syndrome. They've said that to me on the Piers Morgan show, and then I say you have Trump fellatio syndrome, but that's their comeback. And they'll call us woke. Last I checked, woke is being awake. I'm not asleep. I understand my surroundings. I understand who the president is, and as do you. But they see that as some sort of bad thing, to be woke, to be aware, because that's what woke really is. It's being aware, being awake. That's what woke really means. And they use these terminologies like Trump derangement syndrome. I would say they have Trump derangement syndrome. I would say the people that are the cultists that buy the Trump Bibles, the people that are cultists that buy his gold sneakers for $500 and all the other crap that he sells, they're the ones that are deranged. They're the ones that watch Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax, that can't separate fact from fiction, that believe every single word this moron says. They're the ones that are deranged, not us. We're the ones that are awake. We understand what's going on. We see our surroundings and who Donald Trump really is.
100%. We're the ones who are actually patriots who care about the Constitution. Now, one of my favorite questions to ask them is, how does Trump's rear end taste on your lips? That's a question. I like it. But no, I'm trying to just specifically though about the McCain comments. I want to, if you're a MAGA listener right now, I want you to just use your imagination right now and try this hypothetical out. What if Trump had, instead of talking about a captured soldier, what if he had made the same comments about a fallen soldier? What if he had said, oh, no, that soldier wasn't a war hero because I like soldiers who don't get killed. Now, I realize that's not what he said, but I'm asking you to use your imagination.
Well, think about it, though. Think about it, though. This is a guy who called them suckers and losers. According to General Kelly, a 4-star general, I believe General Kelly over Donald Trump, he called them suckers and losers when he went to Arlington Cemetery. So, I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that, my friend. Listen, I'm completely in agreement with what you just said. When Donald Trump said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured, that should have made him illegitimate to run for president of the United States. That should have been disqualifying right there. The guy who dodged the military several times said, I don't respect John McCain because I tend to respect people who were not captured. That's a disqualifying comment in itself. How could anybody in our military, anybody that serves this country now or has served this country, vote for this man? Because you don't like Kamala's cackle? He's going after John McCain because he was a POW? Does it get any more disgraceful than that? That's the person that Donald Trump is. But he deserves the Purple Heart. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Why? What the hell has this guy ever done in his life besides cheat and lie and swindle people out of money? He's been a con artist his entire life. He's an adjudicated abuser, a lifelong cheater. What the hell has this guy ever done positive in his life that would make you think that he cares about this country? He only cares about himself. He doesn't even care about his own kids unless he's sexualizing his daughter. The Dynamic Wolf on the YouTube Super Chat says, I'm from D.C. and they're lying about everything here. Bowser has been mayor since 15, so no way he didn't know she's a woman. The right are clowns. Well, I agree with you, Dynamic. I would lend to a 90% chance that Mark Wayne Mullen absolutely knows that the mayor of D.C. is a female, but is trying to be funny or in some way sick and call her a him. It's absolutely disgusting. That's who these MAGA Republicans are, ladies and gentlemen. This is who they are. Let's go to Steve. Steve is next up on PTL. Hey, Steve, what's up?
Hi, Brian. Thank you for taking my call. This is a great show. I'll try to make 2 points quick, but whenever I try to, I talk fast and then I stutter. So
no problem. Take your
I'll
time.
try not to talk too fast.
Take your time.
The first one is about the militarization about the police in Washington, D.C. It's, in my opinion, good and bad. The bad thing is Trump is using it to distract us from everything else that's going on. Not only Epstein, but with all the money he's spending on decorating the White House.
Oh, what do you think of that? I mean, how despicable is that? It looks. Can you imagine how disgusting that looks like?
It's terrible. And I'm very fiscally conservative. I'm just very against Donald Trump.
I appreciate
so that right there. That's a huge distraction. I think, however, from being near Chicago, it would be great to see more law enforcement. However, they have their hands tied.
Can I ask you something, though, if you don't mind me, sir? So are you a lifelong Republican, a lifelong conservative? Is that fair to say?
I'm just like you. Okay. I'm basically maybe
you're
independent or libertarian.
You're fiscally conservative. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What do you make, sir, as you being fiscally conservative? What do you make of the fact that the money it's costing this country and the deportations and the fact that 4% of our population is going to be gone, the fact that we're spending all this money deploying our own National Guard to cities like D.C., what do you make of the fact that the top 1% are getting the biggest tax breaks that they've ever had in American history? As somebody who is fiscally responsible, a fiscal conservative in that aspect, what do you make of that?
I mean, it's not fiscally responsible. It's wasting a lot of money. It's kind of like when you have a budget and you're wanting to do things to improve your house, but instead you're adding all the fancy things and then the things you don't need, and then the things you do need, you don't spend on, and then you're screwed in the long run.
Yeah,
that's what this country is in for. And can I make my second point?
Yeah.
And with the Trump cult out there, and I know more people and friends and family who voted for Trump than not for Trump, and that's fine, but there's some who you could tell them, okay, but what about his Access Hollywood video where he's admitting that he can basically do anything? He, in front of a crowd, said, he could shoot anyone and get away with it. And he's proving it. And people are like, yeah, but what about Bill Clinton? And my point is, and if Bill Clinton is ever found on the Epstein list and he's found to be wrong, I would want him to serve a ton of time.
Agree. I'm glad.
Donald Trump.
I so agree with what you just said, my friend, and I appreciate your call. And I've been very consistent on that as well. I don't care who's in the files. I don't care if you have a D next to your name or an R next to your name. I don't care. I want everybody held to account. I want the victims to get justice. And it seems as though MAGA Republicans only want to see these files unless it hurts their president, Donald Trump, if the truth actually comes out. And while we've been speaking on this, and I knew this because this came out a little bit earlier today, California Governor Gavin Newsom has been trolling Donald Trump for the last couple days with tweets. And I actually like this version of Gavin Newsom 2.0. He's announced the truth that Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in modern day history. I completely agree with that. If you look at his poll numbers, I want Gavin Newsom to keep being aggressive. I like this new Gavin Newsom 2.0. I like it. Give it right back to Donald Trump. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hey, Mark, what's going on?
Hey, thank you, Brian, for the opportunity.
Yep.
First, nation within a nation, you wasted my time yesterday. I showed up. You never did. You're a clown and a coward. Okay? Number two, make no mistake, Ryan, and I've been saying this since he announced it. The reason why Trump is meeting Putin in Alaska is because he is eyeing the Nobel Peace Prize because Obama got one. He's going to come out of the meeting saying that he's got all these, that Putin is ready to drop ready to give up the war, to stop. And Zelensky refused to come to the meeting. And it's all about him getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
It's all about him.
Number two.
Yeah, it's all about him.
He's making it about himself, exactly.
Right. He always
because
does.
When did Trump do anything that wasn't about him?
It's always about him.
Never.
It's always about him. He's been like this his entire life. It's always been about Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. He doesn't care about anybody else but himself. He certainly doesn't care about members of his own family. He'd throw them under the bus if he had the opportunity. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. He is the most selfish individual and most insecure person, I think, on the planet.
But this Mark Wayne Mueller,
yeah,
he lives in a high crime rate state, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And by the way, if you're talking about Oklahoma and Mark Wayne Mullins, something that I brought up earlier, Mark, which I'm sure you're probably aware of, is that Oklahoma consistently ranks as one of the worst in the country when it comes to education. Now, he was specifically talking about Washington, D.C., and he claimed that when he drives in his vehicle, he never buckles his seatbelt because he's afraid he's going to be carjacked, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. These people, they just come up and they wrap themselves into these right-wing MAGA pretzels. It's just so stupid. Thank you for the call, Mark. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Raven. Raven is next up on PTL. Hey, Raven, what's going on?
Hey, thank you for talking to me. First time calling in.
Thank you.
So the thing that gets me is the women that vote for Trump, because he does not care about women. He treats women so badly. We all know what happened with E. Jean Carroll, and it just surprises me, how people can vote for him. And now he's doing something where he wants to kick out all homeless people in DC, yet he spent $11 billion on a ballroom for the White House, but not helping these people.
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. Donald Trump's history, he's treated women horribly. And by the way, I would say it's worse than that. I would say treating women horribly is the cheating. We know he's done that. Lying, treating women like objects. We know that he's done that. But it's further, because you have at least 25 women have accused him of abuse. We know what happened in the E. Jean Carroll trial. That's worse than treating women terribly. That's criminal activity.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that he was best friends for a long period of time with Epstein. I think we probably know what was going on there. I think he's a very sick, deranged man. And the way he's treated women, the way he's treated family, the way he's treated immigrants, the way he treats brown people, the way he really treats everybody in all shapes and sizes, unless you're one of his supporters and the color of your skin happens to be white, even though he still doesn't care about you, he certainly will treat you better than the way he's treated many women in his life. There's no question about that.
Oh, that's true. And also we saw what happened to Pence. Like, he turned on him instantly when he, didn't see things his way anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And for how many lies he's told, and it's been found out he lies, and people are like, oh, no, I'm still going to follow him. Why are you going to still follow him when he's been lying about
Because
horrible...
it's a cult. Because it's a cult. I've been calling it a cult for years now. I've been calling it a cult for a very long time, and we all know the definition of what a cult is. Their Sir Dear Orange leader can do no wrong. And Donald Trump is the guy who said it. He said it years ago. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'll still support me. That's exactly the situation that we are in right now. This is a cult. If you are at the point now, even if you're saying to yourself, I wouldn't have voted for Kamala Harris, but I shouldn't have voted for Donald Trump. Okay, fine. But if you're at the point now where you still support Donald Trump and you think he's doing a good job, you are brainwashed, ill-informed, and you are in a cult. Either that or you're an elected official and you understand that you're going to lose office, you're going to lose power if you don't support Donald Trump. Those are the only two reasons that I can think of. Or maybe you're a selfish billionaire and you know that Donald Trump is saving you money on your taxes. Those are the only reasons. I mean, but the majority of the people that still support Trump are just brainwashed and ill-informed people that watch Newsmax 24/7. They're gone. You can't talk to these people. They're so brainwashed and ignorant. You just can't talk to them.
Oh yeah, and I live in New York, and I live, in a pretty good area, but I'll still get Trump supporters in my work, and that will just start ranting. It's like, okay, can I just make you your food so you can be on your way? It's like they'll wear the Trump hat, and they'll be like, oh, Trump, and then if they don't get a plastic straw, they'll be like, oh, Trump said no more plastic, no more paper straws and whatever. But it's just like, if the people that follow him,
they're
will
very
follow
uneducated.
him no matter what.
Let's be very clear.
And he says he loves.
Let's be
and
very
he says
clear.
He loves the
95%.
He loves the uneducated.
Right. I'm sure he does. That's how he got voted in again. But let's be very clear, my dear. And by the way, Raven, thank you for calling in. I appreciate your call. 95% of Donald Trump's base are ill-informed and uneducated white people. Just like the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. These are ill-informed, uneducated white people, most of Donald Trump's base. Britzerker on the YouTube super chat says Trump couldn't serve when the country came calling, couldn't do a desk job, but he qualifies to hold the highest office in the land and head of the military. How does anyone in the military follow him? Britzerker, I ask myself that same question every day. And I just named you some of those reasons. A lot of ill-informed and uneducated people out there that vote against their self-interest, that are brainwashed by Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN. Those people are gone. We can't talk to those people anymore because they're so brainwashed. It's a waste of time. Although sometimes people like that do call into this show. And the number, by the way, is 702-221-7283, 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Rebecca. Rebecca is next up on PTL. Hey, Rebecca, what's going on?
Hi, Brian. Love you and Numchuck. Love the show.
Thank you.
I was about 10 minutes late because I did watch my governor's speech, and it was very refreshing. They went ahead and put it on the ballot for November 4th. I'm just wondering what Taco Tits McCankles is going to do in retaliation because...
Well, did you see the tweets that his media people have been putting out?
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, I think this is brilliant. And I wish people started doing this years ago. So they're starting to talk like Donald Trump. They're putting their words in capital letters, and they're using the terms like many people, only they're using it against Donald Trump now because they're showing how stupid he is. I love this Gavin Newsom 2.0. Okay, if he can continue this, then I will support him. I think throw it right back in their faces of how dumb and ridiculous our president is. That's exactly what Gavin Newsom has been doing lately. I love these tweets by the governor. I loved what he had to say. I love his press conferences, and I think he needs to continue this and just throw it right back in their faces. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
All right.
Oh, 100%.
What part of California do you live in?
I'm in Santa Cruz on the Central Coast.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm not a big LA fan, I'll be honest with you, but when I take vacations, it's usually to San Diego, and I love Del Mar. I love that.
Yeah, area. I'm up above Monterey.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of beautiful spots in California. And I certainly don't want the National Guard called out there anymore. I appreciate the call, my dear. Be safe out there. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. 702-221-7283. Also, you can go to my website, pushingthelimits.live, where we sell PTL merchandise. You could also make donations on there, as well as the YouTube super chat, where your questions and comments will be heard. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Jason. Jason is next up on PTL. Hello, Jason. Jason, go right ahead.
All right. All I got is one question. I have one question and one question only. Where are all the veterans and the servicemen that so-called defended our Constitution? Are they all okay if this guy destroyed the Constitution? I just want to know every Marine, every Army, every Navy, anybody that served, are they okay that they are going to let this man destroy what they fought and died for, people lost blood for, to keep our Constitution and be the beacon of the world? Are they okay to become the darkness of the world?
What's amazing, Jason, what's amazing is that so many of these brave people have risked their life for this country. so that this guy could be the president of the United States, so that this guy could be the leader of the free world and call in our military to U.S. cities? It's unconscionable to me, Jason.
I just don't understand how people that went to World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, all these wars that we fought, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, everything we've done to bring this country to where it is now, and just to watch it go down the toilet by one douchebag.
You're right. And it's worse than that because he's a criminal. Jason, I feel you. Your anger, your frustration. I have that same frustration and anger every day. I ask myself, how the hell did this guy get voted into office again? What type of country am I living in that we can put a 34-count felon back into the White House? That we can put an adjudicated abuser back into the White House? That we can put somebody in there that's just you use the term douchebag. I would use worse terminology, but I certainly understand where you get that from. The way he's treated women his whole life. The things he said about our brave men and women in uniform. The racist statements that he's made in the past. But yet, millions and millions of Americans voted him in. Are you happy when you lose your Medicaid? Are you happy when you lose your food stamps? Are you happy when you lose your job? Are you happy that not only has he not taken care of the war in Ukraine, but now we've started a war with Iran, and that the American consumer has to pay for Donald Trump's stupid tariffs all over the world? Does that make you happy? What has he done? You can call in and tell me. 702-221-7283. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Stephen. Stephen is next on PTL. Hi, Stephen. Stephen, are you there? Hi, Stephen. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, it's an honor talking to you.
Thank you.
I've been a first-time caller.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, are you familiar with the book Football for a Buck by Jeff Pearlman?
I have not read that one, no.
Okay. I strongly recommend that you do read that one. And there's a point, I'm getting to it. And maybe get him on your show to interview him. What the book is about is the short life history of the United States Football League. Basically, the league that Donald Trump ruined. And I have known ever since then, because I'm old enough to remember back in the 80s when he destroyed that league, and it was all about his ego and all about himself. Mm-hmm. Because he talked to then Commissioner Pete Rozelle. Pete Rozelle talked to Donald Trump, said, "Oh, hell no. This guy's never getting a franchise in the NFL. Never." So then he bought a franchise in the USFL, destroyed that league, wanting to go to a fall league, compete with the NFL. The other owners basically said, "God, you're crazy," but using that fucking...
Well, watch the language. Yeah, watch the language. We got to watch the language. Yep.
I know, you're right. But listening to him, do his spiel, trying to convince people to go, it's like it's a good idea to basically go along with him.
Well, because he's a snake. So that's something I'll have to read. But, when you talk about Donald Trump in the NFL, what I remember the most are a bunch of black and white NFL players that were peacefully protesting during our national anthem, taking a knee. And Donald Trump called those people sons of bitches. However, if you beat police officers on January 6th with their own batons, he called you a patriot and a hostage. Somebody please explain to me how Donald Trump is not a racist. Let me repeat. He called a bunch of brown NFL players sons of bitches because they took a knee and peacefully protested. But if you were white and a Donald Trump supporter and beat police officers and pepper sprayed them and beat them with their own batons, he called you a patriot and a hostage, and he pardoned you because Donald Trump is a racist. What more evidence do you need?
Absolutely. He always has been.
Yep.
He always has been. I have one more favor. I have one favor to ask.
Yeah.
My last name is Miller. So I have the unfortunate name now of Stephen Miller. But I don't spell my name as he does. I know. So I look at his name and I say, that's Stephen Miller. I'm Stephen Miller. That's Stephen Miller.
Just call him Adolf Miller. Okay.
I'll
That's
call
what
him
we should do.
Adolf. There you go.
I'm
I
sorry.
like that.
All right. You have a good one, my friend. I appreciate you calling in. You call back anytime. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Lewis. Lewis is next up on PTL. Hey, Lewis, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
What's going on, Brian? How you doing?
Good, man. What you got for me today?
Brian, I wanted to talk about the tariffs. It was something that just came up to me, enlightened me the other day. I've always wondered why, like, for example, have you ever noticed before when he was during the campaign, when the Orange Buffoon was talking about these tariffs, everybody would always tell him that, the countries don't pay for the tariffs, that consumers end up paying for the tariffs. He would always basically overlook it. He would just gloss over it. He never answered that question. I personally think, even though I think this guy's a buffoon and he's not that smart, but I think it's kind of a clever way what he's done. And this is my opinion. I just tell me what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican Party has always been against raising taxes.
Right.
Supposedly, that's been their platform. They never want to raise taxes.
Well, that's not true, because they do. They raise taxes. They don't want to raise taxes for the rich. They certainly don't mind raising taxes for middle class Americans and those that are struggling.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Because what he's done is he's found a clever way. In my opinion, what he did was he said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and we're going to implement these taxes. He may have already talked to, huge corporations, big business owners, and said, look, we're going to implement these taxes. You guys are going to be able to go ahead and pass those costs on to the consumers, to the working public, to the working class. Okay. So you're going to end up, you're going to have to pay for it, but they're going to reimburse you. Okay. So you're essentially, basically what he's done is he's raised taxes on the working class and basically not raised them on corporations, nor raised them on, the 1%.
The biggest tax loopholes, some of the biggest tax loopholes we've ever seen for CEOs of Fortune 500 companies have come under the Trump administration. Make no mistake about it. The Democrats are not
100%.
perfect. The Democrats are not perfect, but they always preach
No,
the rich need to pay their fair share. What do they mean by that? Republicans will say, well, they are paying 98%, 99%. Yeah, but they're not paying a higher percentage than somebody making $40,000 a year. You look at a guy like a Jeff Bezos, he is not paying a higher percentage than a household income family that makes under $100,000 a year. That's wrong. All I've simply said is I want everyone on an equal playing field. And if you're a billionaire, you're saving money on taxes because you got the orange buffoon, as you said, who's giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. When they say pay their fair share, all we're asking for is the wealthiest people in this country paying an equal percentage rate that someone making minimum wage has to pay. And I don't think that's asking too much.
100%. And I think that this would be this is something that I think, Democrats need to grab a hold of and say, look, this is what he's done. He's basically passed on their tax increase, what they were supposed to, their responsibility, the rich, and basically he's passed it on to us. He's passed it on to the working class.
You're right. You're right.
And that's why he never answers the question. Because, anybody obviously, this guy's got no common sense, he's an idiot, but anybody knows that, the businesses are not going to eat these tariffs. Those costs are going to be passed on, and they're passed on, unfortunately, to the working class.
Yeah, but wait a second. According to Navarro, he claims that these tariffs are the foreign businesses are the ones that are paying for it. It's not American consumers and American companies. And then they keep bragging about how much money they've made from the American people, from the American consumer.
The American consumer.
It's insane, Lewis. It's insane. They're bragging about the fact that they're costing the American consumer more money in billions of dollars, and they're gloating about it. Lewis, thank you for the phone call, my friend. Great call. Number to call again if you want to be a part of the show. Seems like my MAGA friends out there are always afraid to call in, but you know what? I don't blame you, because I tear you up every time you call in. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Michelle? Michelle is next up on PTL. Hey, what's going on, Michelle?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind today?
One thing, I love you.
Thank you.
Because you speak the truth.
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
You be hurting these people's feelings. Because I watch you all the time. I watch you every day.
Thank you.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I like how you speak your truth to these people. Because they got to realize it wasn't because none of us, this America won't be right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, with the Trump thing, Trump wrong. Because for one, when he said the other day, this America, he told some Mexicans, somebody, this America. Like I told my guy, this wife ain't in America. She not America.
Well, as I've said before, and I've been saying this for years, it was never about making America great again. It was about making America white again. And I truly believe that if you go back years and years and years, back to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and back to a time when black people had to sit on the back of the bus and they had to use different water fountains. And I really, truly believe that a decent amount of people, I don't know how many, but a decent amount of Donald Trump supporters think that's when America was great. Back in the days, maybe when we had slavery, back in the days when black people couldn't sit in the same place as white people. I really believe every single time I hear somebody say, make America great again, they mean make America white again. I really believe that.
That's what they're doing. That's why they send all these people back to their country, all these people back to the thing. They want us to be slaves. They want us to eat peanut butter, mayonnaise sandwich, served sandwich. They want us to be out here digging for food. And no, that ain't cool. How you want? We vote for you because I ain't vote for him. I told him I ain't gonna never vote for him.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a statistic that you might have already known. And because black women are some of the most educated women in this country, and guess what? 93% of them did not vote for Donald Trump. 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump. I mean, it's disgraceful to me, but it's something pretty amazing. 93%, which is an incredible number. Now, 80% of black men also did not vote for Donald Trump. You'd like that number a little bit higher than that, but still, it's great compared to, the average white American and the way they voted. Donald Trump won this election because of white women that are uneducated and a lot of white people in this country that are ill-informed. That's why Donald Trump won this election. And you can also throw in a lot of younger white people who listen to Charlie Kirk. But Donald Trump won this election not because of minorities. I know they could say the Latino vote was higher for Trump. Fine. That's not why he won. Donald Trump won this election because of uneducated and ill-informed white people who get their news from Newsmax every day. That is why Donald Trump won. Period.
That's true. That's true. And that's why everybody looking stupid now since they vote for him, because they thought that $1 billion man was going to get everybody $1,000 when they vote for Trump. And look what happened. They vote for Trump and ain't get it.
What happened to our Doge? What happened to our Doge checks, Michelle? I thought we were supposed to be getting.
That's what I'm talking about.
What happened to our $5,000 Doge checks? Remember when all the right-wing Nimrods? Remember when all the right-wing Nimrods out there were saying, "Thank you, Elon Musk, for these $5,000 Doge checks that were going to magically appear at our door." Funny, what happened to those checks? Where did they go? Did you get any checks at all? I know what you got. You might have donated a lot of money to Donald Trump, and you might have bought a Donald Trump Bible for $60 and gotten ripped off. Maybe you got a sticker in the mail. You certainly didn't get a Doge check. Some of you might have lost your jobs. Sadly, and I wish this wasn't true, but sadly, a lot of you are going to be losing your medical coverage. A lot of you are going to be losing your food stamps. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the program. Let's go to Mark. Mark is calling from Las Vegas. I love my Vegas locals. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Brian. Good Thursday afternoon to you. A couple of things really quick. One, it is true that wealthy people pay a high proportion of their income in taxes, but the majority of money they have is not from income, from wealth, investments, and so forth, and they pay far less in taxes on those. So that's how the Republicans lie about, wealthy people and what they pay in taxes. So that's the first point I want to make. The second is that regarding immigration, we looked this up the other day, and between legal immigrants, undocumented, and naturalized citizens, there are over 51 million immigrants in this country currently. About 12 million of those, Brian, are undocumented.
Right.
Now, the Trump administration is bragging that they want to get the people that they're throwing out of the country up to like 3,000 a day. All right. So even if they do this, as terrible as it is and as stupid as it is, we're looking at around 1 million per year, 4 years, 4 million, about a third of the undocumented. Their policy is doomed to failure. It's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt this country, and for nothing.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, I don't know if you saw the interview, Mark, that Tallarico did on Fox News, and then that interview was cut short because he absolutely destroyed the host. But Tallarico was saying, why do you guys have to rearrange your maps if you claim that people like your policies so much? Why do the Republicans need to fix it, put the fix in, if your policies are working? And then all of a sudden the Fox News anchor says, well, you know what? We're short on time now. We got to go, Mr. Tallarico, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I did see that, and the host was embarrassed, you know. But then again, the host on the right, I have no idea if they can feel shame or embarrassment because of how stupid they are.
Yep. I'm going to guarantee you something, Mark, okay? Tallarico will not be, I'll be shocked if he's invited back on Fox News, because every single time he goes on one of those networks, he destroys the right-wing imbecile that he's debating, because Tallarico is an extremely intelligent person. I believe one day he'll be president. I said that 5 years ago when he did my show. I was so impressed with him 5 years ago, and I was laughed at. I was laughed at by the buffoons who I had to work with 5 years ago who are no longer in radio. Tallarico is, I've said it 5 years ago, and I say it today, he is a rising star in the Democrat Party. He's extremely intelligent, well-spoken, and he's not afraid to debate anybody. That's the kind of guy that I want in Washington, D.C., and that's the kind of guy who I would support as president of the United States. I know he's young, but Tallarico is a guy that I think you're going to hear a lot more from in the coming future, but I don't think you're going to be seeing him on Fox News anymore, because he embarrasses every single one of these right-wing idiots in any debate. Boy, would I love to see Tallarico debate a guy like a Charlie Kirk or a Ben Shapiro. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's see, who are we going to next here, and then I'll read something. Let's go to Kim. Kim is next up on PTL. Hey, Kim, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, I'm just from West Virginia, and I want to tell you something. It is not just the blue states they're starting to unleash ice on. Yesterday, our governor came to our town with the West Virginia State Police and made an announcement that they are now going to unleash ICE and the West Virginia State Police and the National Guard in West Virginia to start rounding up illegal immigrants. Now, let me tell you something, Brian. I am 66 years old. I was a nurse here for 30-some years, lived here all of my life. We are 99% white, and the rest, I'd say, are black. And we have some Mexicans here that work in the restaurants, Mexican restaurants, and then we have the girls, the Asian girls that do nails, but they are legal because they have all their diplomas are up, and they have to have those diplomas because they have to have them done every year. They have to have them, the license, and they have to be through our county, our state, it has to be registered. So now this is their thing to do. They're starting in the red states now. And so he wrote the law, he signed the law, and put it in effect. And let me tell you, last night I was so furious that he got a nice little email from me. And it just pisses me off because this man has done nothing since he's been in office for West Virginia. The only thing he has done is enacted and signed in bills for the Project 2025 and Trump's
Yeah, well,
bills.
let me be clear on this, and you could tell me whether you agree or not. But I would say this for most MAGA Republicans across the country: they only care about their own self-interest. They will do and say anything that Donald Trump tells them to do or say.
That's what he's doing.
And they just go by, as you said, Project 2025. They don't care about the poor. They don't care about those that are struggling, that are living paycheck to paycheck. They only care about the tech billionaires and Donald Trump's rich friends. They don't care about people in this country, whether they're constituents of theirs or not, Republican or Democrat. They only care about their own self-interest and remaining in power. And they know that when they do something that is against Donald Trump's interests, which is help the poor, help the needy, help the homeless, then they speak out about that, then they could lose power and lose office. And that's the way these people think. They only care about themselves, and they'll do and say anything, even if they know it's bad for the country and it's bad for their own constituents, just so that they can remain in power. That's what these Republican scumbags are. That's what they are.
Exactly.
He's hijacked the entire Republican Party into a bunch of bigot, racist, misogynist, anti-transgender.
I'm sick of it.
That's who these people are, okay? And I'm sorry, that's just who they are.
And you know, the thing of it is, here in West Virginia, we're last almost every, and it's like I told him, we're last almost every freaking list. The people are cheering. I said, what are you cheering about? You know what the thing about it is? They're not going, these ICE agents aren't going into the seedy parts of like Chicago and LA to where the real criminals are, like Trump was going to get. I'm going to get rid of the drug dealers. I'm going to get rid of the real criminals.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's not going after the real criminals. He's going after the easy picking.
Listen, as a country, if we were going after the real criminals, then we'd be going after a 34-count convicted felon. His name is Donald J. Trump. I appreciate your call, my dear. Idiots like Mark Wayne Mullen, who's a complete imbecile, who claims in his nice little neighborhood and his six-figure salary that every single time he gets into his vehicle, he's not putting his seatbelt on because he's afraid he's going to get carjacked. I mean, does anybody believe these imbeciles? And Gavin Newsom, in his speech today, completely eviscerated Donald Trump. He called Donald Trump weak and broken, and he says Trump's weakness is masquerading as strength. Listen, Gavin Newsom is 150% correct, and that's something that I would continue to echo over and over and over again, at least before the midterms, every single day. And don't forget to talk about the Epstein files, too, because obviously, clearly, that's something that Donald Trump does not want us to talk about. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to Chuck. Chuck is next up on PTL. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, Brian. Man, I'm just wondering how the other countries was treating us bad in trade when we signed the agreements. How was we getting screwed on the trade, man? And that's his premise for the darn tariffs. That's bullshit.
Well, I will say this, Chuck. It is obvious and apparent, and any economist that is not biased, Chuck, would say that the people that are getting bit in the ass, for lack of a better term, are the American consumer. Make no mistake about it. He's hurt our relationship with Canada. He's hurt our relationships with basically almost every country around the world, except for maybe Russia. And when you look at these tariffs and what they've done to the American people, and they brag and they boast about how much money it's made for the government, it's off of the American people. Many of these people that provide services, American businesses that provide services to others, that have had to lay people off, and they have to raise their prices. We've heard it from large companies, Walmart, Target, and others. They're having to raise the prices, the grocery prices, you name it. And the people that are suffering the most are people like you and me. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Brian. I just love the show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you listening in. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, I will take your call. 702-221-7283. Gary's next on PTL. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Brian. This is Gary. I don't really have too much to say on some of the topics, but you remember Ross Perot and his flat tax idea, don't you?
I do. I remember Ross Perot.
I took my little town here, Riverbank, took the population, it was 27,880, something like that, cut that in half, and did the math that he recommended 6 times before the Texas Instrument was all errors. That's how fast the money would stack up from my little town. It was crazy.
Where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you live, sir?
Right, I'm in the last county known as Southern California on the Stanislaus River, Riverbank, California.
Gotcha.
About halfway through the state.
Gotcha.
And I'll tell you what, this is the Trump land over here. The East County, Stanislaus is Trump. But
yeah,
that idea. My point being is that the taxation is all wrong. Let's give everybody the same tax, and I agree with that 100%. Because
I've always said that, but you know why MAGA Republicans won't do that? Because they always want to
make too much sense.
Right. Right. That and the fact that they only cater to the richest people in this country. The Republican Party is the party known for tax breaks for the rich. That is what that party stands for. They stand for tax breaks for the ultra wealthy and the rich, the people that are hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. The Republican Party has never stood for and stood behind helping the poor. Every single one of these virtual government programs that you see, we could be talking about maternity leave. We could be talking about welfare. We could be talking about unemployment benefits. Every single person that I could think of on the right is against all of these benefits to help people. They always vote against it. And then when we talk about, gun control, they talk about mental illness. But then when bills come forward to allocate more money to help people that are mentally ill, Republicans never vote for it. They vote against every self-interest to make us safer. They vote against every self-interest to help us put food on the table and help those that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. And people like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk of the world are the ones that are going to benefit the most off of Donald Trump's policy. This is the Republican Party in 2025, but it's been the Republican Party for decades and decades and decades. Help the rich, the poor get poorer, the rich get richer.
100% agree with you, Brian. Keep up the fight, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Stay safe out there. I think he said he was in California, right? 702-221-7283, the number to call. Boy, the MAGA callers are shaking in their boots today. They don't want to call in. That's okay. 702-221-7283. It just shows you the average intelligence of my listeners on PTL, and I'm very proud of that because I have a lot of informed listeners who call into this show every single day. All right, let's go to Taylor. Taylor's next up on PTL. What's up, Taylor?
Hey, man. Thanks for doing the live stream. Appreciate seeing this. A few things I can say that drive MAGA folk like deeper into their holes is when we make things personal with them. So I go out and actually talk to people out in public, and they always expect me to engage with their negativity and they're making things personal. But one thing that they don't like, and I have to encourage that we have to try to maybe speak to Trump and the MAGA group as that specifically, and not necessarily Republicans. I think that would kind of shine a light more on kind of the movement, because this isn't normal, this movement that we're in, this political time. So I think that calling them Republicans doesn't really do a true service, because right now Trump's taking it over. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. Listen, I don't want to make it sound like every single Republican is against helping the poor, and that wouldn't be true. But what I will say is,
I would agree with saying that in today's environment, that might be like 99% true.
I agree. That's what I was just going to say. The overwhelming majority of politicians that put an R next to their name now are politicians that don't want to help the poor. They don't want to help people that are living paycheck to paycheck. And how do we know this? Look at all the people that voted for this big, horrendous bill, as they call the big, beautiful bill. They know that over 15 million Americans are going to lose their Medicaid coverage. They also know that 30% of people that are working right now aren't even offered health care benefits. And if they are, almost half of them can't even afford it. Yet they want to look at you in a straight face and say, well, get off your ass and work. Over 15 million people are going to lose their health care benefits. What does that mean? It means that many of these people are going to get sick. Sadly, a good portion of these people could lose their life. And we know that many of these people are going to go into hospitals to get help. This is actually going to cost the American taxpayer more money than just keeping them on these benefits. Why? Because you give them their medicine that they need to survive. You give them the doctors that they need to survive. Let them live, but many of these people are going to get sick. They don't have the medicine that they need, the health care that they need. So they're going to go to the emergency room, and then these hospitals, rightfully so, are going to have to take them in and help them. That's going to cost the American taxpayer more money. But you don't hear MAGA Republicans complaining about that. But God forbid if an undocumented immigrant is sick and goes to the ER, they'll be the first one to talk about that. But all these Americans that are going to be losing their health care coverage that are going to have to go to the ER, apparently they don't want to talk about that. And there's over 15 million of them.
Right. Well, that feeds their narrative and keeps people distracted. That's why they won't, in my opinion, won't talk about that stuff. They won't talk about actual issues. They want to talk about tiny little issues. You know, they'll always bring up transgenders. They'll bring up this and that.
Yeah.
South Park has really highlighted the hypocrisy here. But the problem I think that we really need to kind of make sure that we understand is that most Americans, I feel, have kind of turned off news and don't trust institutions to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Andrew, I'll give him a call out with a couple other friends of mine I had breakfast with earlier today, Brian and Juvie. Andrew, my friend Andrew made a really good point. He said this a few weeks ago to me, and I tweeted it out. He said, look at all the issues that we're facing in this country. Look at all the people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. Look at, the war in Ukraine, the war that we have now with Iran. Look at all these innocent people that are, most of them nonviolent criminals, that are being deported and treated like inhumane animals in this country. But thank God, he said, that we got that transgender out of that volleyball game, because that's so important. That's what, thank God that transgender isn't playing volleyball anymore.
Anytime they bring up transgender, I always point out how mortality rates are going up now that women can't get the health care that they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't look at those statistics. Let me tell you how stupid these Republicans are, okay? Because many of them are very stupid. As you know, many Republicans are anti-abortion, right? Right? They think abortion should be abolished altogether. Murder. Right, exactly. So this is how stupid these Republicans are. Right now, with abortion still being legal in about half the country, we still have a couple 100,000 kids that are waiting to be adopted. So imagine if abortion is illegal everywhere, eventually you're going to have millions of kids that are waiting to be adopted. Where are all these kids going to go? But you see, MAGA Republicans, they don't think like that. They don't adopt children themselves. They just expect everybody else to do it for them, but they say abortion bad. Okay, well, what are you going to do with all these kids that are waiting to be adopted? I'm not making that up. There are literally hundreds of thousands of kids right now that are waiting to be adopted. But MAGA, they just don't talk about stuff like that. And it's like, it's so clear as day.
Yeah. I want to say I am fighting back myself. I have an application available called the Strategic Owl. Mm-hmm. It's actually got the full Constitution loaded onto it. I come up with a new idea called a True Owl Credibility Score. So instead of focusing on what side people are on, focus on, do they even tell the truth? And that's a free download available on the App Store, on Apple App Store. But this is also available on my website. But just every day I wake up and I think, how can we fight back? So I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want to give another caller and some airtime as well. But I appreciate you indulging in this conversation with me, and keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for the phone call. All right. Number to call 702-221-7283. If you'd like to be a part of the program. We're nearing towards the end of the show. By the way, programming note for all of you, arguably the most popular left-leaning streamer is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. Destiny. He's known as Destiny. I am a part of the Un-F America tour, as Destiny is as well. And of course, we had Robbie Roadster on the show earlier. I love Robbie. He's the best. Destiny will be joining us on the show tomorrow. So it's going to be an interesting conversation with him. All right. Wouldn't be a show if I didn't introduce this next lovely lady joining us. She is known as the official MAGA destroyer of the PTL radio show. Of course, I'm talking about Darlene. Darlene, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Now listen, Brian. I recently started following Mark Wayne Dumbass because I wanted to see, how many lies he tells every day. You guys, listen to me. The first 3 days, every subject he put on there was a flat-out lie. So I started having people fact-checking him, and we would start putting the proof up there and showing these other people that he is lying. And as far as the seatbelt goes, oh, wait, I'm going to spread that all over Oklahoma because Oklahoma, a while back, you better wear your seatbelt or you're going to get a fine. Well, I guess now we have permission if we want to do it or we don't.
Yeah, well, Mark Wayne Wallen's lying. I don't believe a word that idiot says. He's obviously wearing his seatbelt. Claiming that he doesn't put his seatbelt on because he's afraid he might get carjacked is probably the dumbest thing, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. He's not a very intelligent guy. Listen, this is the same guy who almost got into a physical confrontation and challenged somebody in the House chambers. Obviously, he's very stupid. He has short man syndrome. I heard he's like 5 feet tall. And he is someone who lies on a regular basis. You're right about that. I don't know how this guy got elected and keeps getting elected. I just don't understand it, Darlene.
Well, if it'll make you any happier, I would say about 70% of the people in that room with me we all know that he's a liar. So I think we all just need to keep telling him what he is and showing him that we're not dumb. Because we are not dumb, people. I'm so sick of these Republicans saying the independents or the Democrats are dumb. You know what? I would say, but I'm not going to say it.
Well,
I'm going to be nice.
I'm not going to be nice, Darlene, and I appreciate your call. I'll be nice to you. Thank you for the call, by the way. The overwhelming majority of people that still support Donald Trump are very stupid people. Sorry. They're very ill-informed and uneducated people that usually can't name one policy that they like under Donald Trump, and they can't name one policy they wouldn't have liked under Kamala Harris. These are very low information voters. That's a nice way of saying it. I would just call them a bunch of idiots and stupid people. The overwhelming majority of Donald Trump base. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy is next up on PTL. Hey, Kathy, what's going on?
Nothing really. I just had a comment to make. They keep trying to distract us from the Epstein files. And in my opinion, those that are covering up for him might as well have been in the room when he was raping 14-year-olds.
Well, I've said this before. It's interesting you say that, Kathy, because I have said this before on this program, and I'm about to say it again. I truly believe this, that if Donald Trump was seen sodomizing a child on video, many in his base would still support him. So there is no low for MAGA. There is no low for Donald Trump. This is a guy who is an adjudicated rapist who has been accused of rape or abuse by 25 women, including his ex-wife in court documents under oath, who said that he raped her and then he paid her off. This is a guy who I believe is a pedophile. He's all over the Epstein files. This is a guy who I believe knew that there was child sex trafficking going on at Mar-a-Lago. He knew that underage girls that were working at his property, that's another weird thing, and that Jeffrey Epstein was taking some of those young girls away. He knew exactly what was going on. This is a guy he was once best friends with. This is a guy who sexualized his own daughter, talking about her body, saying the one thing they have in common is sex. If she wasn't my daughter, I would date her. This is a mentally deranged man. He's a sick, mentally deranged man. And there's a lot of mentally deranged people, sadly, that supported him and still do.
The MAGA people who are finally seeing, what Donald Trump is all about, because there's so many things on YouTube about MAGAs burning their red hat.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I just had to get that off my chest.
Well, you know what? I don't blame you. And that's why I do. That's one of the reasons why I do this radio show every day. I try to get this stuff. I appreciate your call, my dear. Thank you so much. All right. So here's what I would ask from all of you, a favor to all of you. So this is an independently owned radio show. I'm independent media. Because I'm independent media, because of that, I ask for your help in making donations. What's the best way to do that? Well, I would say to start, go to pushingthelimits.live. You go to pushingthelimits.live, and I do sell merchandise up there, PTL gear. The Don't Be a Right-Wing Buffoon shirt is the highest seller. But another thing that'll take maybe 2 or 3 minutes of your time, you'll see a button there right at pushingthelimits.live, and it's a button that says donate. It'll take a couple minutes of your time. Doesn't matter whether it's $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever you can afford. We greatly appreciate it. Helps us keep the lights on here, and we appreciate your support. Also, check out my YouTube page if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody in the YouTube super chat. It's at PTL Radio Show. Subscribe. Give me the thumbs up. Comment. Get involved. That's the best way to really help us, is by doing that as well. Your support is certainly appreciated, and we have so many people here that continue to support what we do, and those people in the YouTube super chat. It's a YouTube channel that's ever so growing. We're going to surpass 135,000 subscribers by tonight, and I'm very grateful for that. It seems like we just passed 50,000 like a month or two ago, and now we're at 135,000. So we want to keep that going. We want to keep the momentum going. Tomorrow on the program, Destiny is going to be joining us on the show, arguably the most popular, or one of the most popular left-leaning live streamers. So Destiny is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. It's a Friday. And of course, we'll be doing what we always do, the most interactive show you will find anywhere. of course, we will be taking your phone calls tomorrow. Sorry for everybody that's on hold. Can't get to you right now. We'll get to you tomorrow to start the show. Thank you, everybody, for calling in and being a part of what we do here. I love you guys, PTL family. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, everybody.